Hello guys, it's Brian here and we are live at Blackman TV and I'm privileged today to have a very beautiful lady with me here and she has a story she wanted to share with the people out there. So maybe you can just ask her name and get to know her. Hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
My name is Christine Mbuju.
Christine Mbuju.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Godikweru, Migori.
Migori County.
Yes.
So you had a story you wanted to share.
Yeah.
And just want to give you the platform so that you can talk to the people out there. So
Thank you. I'm Christine Mbuju from Migori, Godikweru, currently living in Godikweru. I had a story to share with the youths about HIV and AIDS. Many youths have been living with the stigma after they realize that they are HIV positive, and this has been discouraging them to continue maybe with their life as a normal, to continue with their today life in a normal way. So I just want to tell them that being HIV positive is not a death sentence. In my case, I have a story to share. I just want to open up. Opening up is part of reducing the stigma. It's like coming out of the box. Now when you're silent about something, I'll use in Kiswahili, ukiwa umenyamaza kuhusu jambo fulani, itakuwa inakuhuma kwa ndani. I was found a victim in the year 2017. That is when I was living in Kisumu County. And it did not become that easy to accept the status. It's normally not that easy to accept. At first I was like, oh, this is going to be the end of my life. Kwa sababu hata yule ambaye alifanya nijue like he was my boyfriend. Mwili yangu ilikuwa inaenda. I did not suspect anything. But he gained that courage, akaniambia tuende visiti. Vile tulienda nikapimwa, and of course yes, I was found positive. From there, I was cancelled. I had to accept my HIV status and move on. Since then, I've been into drugs. I've been using ARVs. And as you can see, you can confirm that I'm very healthy. That is one statement that can clearly tell that it's not a death sentence to be HIV positive. So I just want to urge the youths who are out there. I know the problem becomes maybe like relationships. People, the challenges that we face, like those who are HIV positive, one, it's not easy to get a stable relationship, because once you get a partner and the partner realizes that you are in that state, the partner will be like, oh, this person is going to infect me with this disease. Atakuwa anaona kwamba wewe ni kama shida kwake. And then another thing, people have been thinking that the people with this status are weak and they are not at a position maybe of doing their work. Another thing that is also a challenge, maybe at work. Maybe you are working somewhere and you don't want people to know that you're using these drugs. Another challenge that we have as youth about these status is that when you go collecting the drugs, it's normally very difficult. You will be like, these people are looking at me. So to come out of all these stigmas that I've talked about is like opening up. My journey has not been that easy. Since when I realized that I was in this state, even my father was not at a position to accept me, I'm sorry to say. The parents were like, oh, you are a disgrace. And this kept on eating me up until the day that I had to accept myself. Because the acceptance comes from you, the person who have the problem, before it goes to the other person. So the first step that you should take as the person who has been infected, you should learn to accept yourself. This acceptance will help you come out of stigma. No matter what people will say about you, once you accept yourself, all is going to be well. Another thing, when you take your drugs keenly without messing up according to the doctor's instructions, it's normally very easy, maybe even to continue with your relationships. In relationships, it's good that if you're in that status, you should be sharing with your partner, so that at least the partner will be aware the kind of a person she or he is into with. Because in any case, maybe you fall sick and you're not at a position of taking your drugs alone. If you didn't disclose this to anybody, or maybe disclose this problem to anybody, it becomes very difficult for these people to know your problem. This may make you to miss your drugs, and it's not normally proper to miss the drugs. So to continue staying healthy in this status, you should adhere to what the doctor says. You can also urge the youths, come out. I urge the youths to come out, at least to stop these stigmas, because I'm sure that there are some youths who are still out there who feel that they are into a death sentence. Like I recently had a case from somewhere, which I will not disclose, that there was once a lady who wanted to take her life due to this situation. So at least we had a chance to talk to her, because I once participated in a program that was being run with the people who are dealing with this, people with this status, and I was crowned the best. I was the Binti Bingwa, and thereafter I was given the opportunity to talk to this lady. And the cause of this lady, the reason for this lady to go kill herself was that she was not accepted in the family because of the status. So to come out of this such kind of stigma, you need first to accept yourself, you yourself. How do you take it? How you take it will make other people to view you also. Once you are courageous about yourself, everything goes well. Because even if you are criticized by other people, mwingine mtu anakuambia wewe toka hapa, uko hivi na hivi, unakuwa na ile nguvu ya kumwambia kwamba hata mimi ni binadamu kama wewe, and life has to continue. Another thing, keep doing exercises, at least for your body fitness. It's not a must that you must do big exercises. I know people do fear exercises. Yes, you can just do the light ones. Walking, that is good for your life. Just be normal as others, because once you are on the drugs, the viral load is going to be suppressed and all is going to be well. Your body is just going to be functioning like any other person's body. Maybe if you fall sick, you'll just go to the hospital. Maybe you are diagnosed of malaria. Only the malaria problem the only thing that will be treated from you is the malaria problem. It's not going to be the HIV and AIDS. And now maybe if I may ask the youths, what do you think of people who may be suffering from cancer, or maybe the other diseases like arthritis? They are far much worse than the people who are suffering from HIV and AIDS. And therefore they should even count themselves lucky that at least there is a drug that was once discovered for HIV and AIDS treatment, or rather that could calm down the viruses that causes HIV and AIDS. Because until as we are speaking now, we still don't have any cure for the other diseases that I've just mentioned. And therefore, this means that we could still have another chance to live. Okay, another thing, I know there is also another thing that makes people not to open up. Maybe they feel that when I say that I'm HIV positive, maybe I got it through other bad means like sexual intercourse. No, there are several ways through which someone can be HIV infected. Now, like in my case, I can't really tell, but I just suspected that I just got it through maybe this, I don't know how to say, it's a sharp object, or because it was just after I had passed through a given problem when I was sick, is when I noticed after that I had the same, because I was not born with it. And since I accepted myself, I've been good. If I can compare myself back then, I'm a different person now. And I've been trying to look for at least mobilize the youths. We even have a group that we formed. So maybe if I can share maybe my contacts, so that at least any person who is willing, I will share at the end my contact. You may contact me, so at least you get that chance to maybe join our group too. Another thing that I can say, I'm really happy that I also got in that platform, the group that we formed, I've got some people who had the courage to also move on despite the problems, move on with their educations. They didn't give up. They didn't give up in any way, and they never even didn't give up in their works. They're just doing well as any other people. So for today, that's all I had for you. My number, I cannot share my number.
Just before you share your number, I have a couple of questions I may ask. So when you realized that you are HIV positive, how did you take it? Because it's normally not very easy for people to accept their status, right?
Yeah.
So how did you cope with it until that time that you realized that it's here and I have to live with it?
Okay, at first it was very difficult to accept, and I could not even believe that the results came out negative. because I knew myself to be growing up as a very innocent girl. But as time went by, I had to accept, because my health was like deteriorating. So I had to accept for everything to change for the good.
All right, so you have talked about relationships. When you're HIV positive, it's very hard for you to have a stable relationship. So how do you cope with it? Like, do you date persons who are also HIV positive?
No,
or
not necessarily.
How do you cope
It's not
with
necessary that when you're HIV positive, you'll automatically date someone who is HIV positive. No. Of course, you'll be approached. You'll be approached by several people with the interest of being in a relationship with you. Now, there's this question that they normally ask: should we go for a test? And in my case, I normally tell them there is no need of going for a test unless I should be knowing your status, because the viruses are not the same. So I normally ease the job. I just tell you, I'm positive. So if you're willing to proceed with the relationship, we'll be going for a test, because if you're HIV positive and I'm also HIV positive, it does not mean that we share the same viruses. We have different HIV viruses, and this is also another problem. So that is why we also have to keep ourselves safe and tunajitunza, kwa sababu sio lazima kwamba ukishapata ugonjwa ni kumaanisha kwamba umeshakata tiketi. Hapana. Kuna virusi vya ukimwi tofauti. Ya kwamba nikichukua ya X na Y niunganishe kwa pamoja, ni kupanisha kwamba kuna there is a possibility ya dawa kunikataa ile dawa yangu nilikuwa natumia, kwa sababu hizi dawa zetu kuna wale ambao wanatumia mara moja kwa siku, kuna wenye wanatumia mara 2 kwa siku, na kuna mara 3 kwa siku. So we have 1, 2 and like 3. So at least you should share. So we normally share, and if the person is not comfortable, we just, it's now good. But it has been a problem to the other people. I've shared with like 5 people, and it is a problem that should at least be addressed.
Okay, so I'm not sure, but I heard that when a person who is HIV positive takes their drugs well, wanaichukua vizuri na kila kitu iko sawa, it reaches a point where your blood is pure. Is it true?
No. There is no point where your blood will be pure. What happens is that the virals are normally suppressed. It means that if at the start you had 800 viral virus, so it's the virus. We are talking about the virus. We have the viral load and the virus. So the viral load is what we get from the measurement of the virus, amount of virus that you have in your body. So if in case you had 800 viruses when you started the drugs, and you maintain the drugs according to the doctor's prescription, with the time, maybe it might even be suppressed to 5.
Okay.
It means that the number of virus will go down, because they will die, but no multiplication of virus will take place, because you are taking your drugs according to the doctor's prescription, and therefore you will be testing HIV positive, yes, but your viral load will be very low, such that it's not easy to transfer, maybe to infect another person with the disease.
But it's there.
But it's there.
All right.
It will be there, but very silent, like enclosed in something. They are closed in something.
Ni kama haiko.
Yes.
So just another question. Are there NGOs in Migori County, or maybe the county government of Migori, are they supporting persons living with HIV? NGOs or the county government?
No, we only once had one that was advocating for the youths. They came and they used to talk to us, like in our health center, they used to talk to us, they used to gather us, talk to us, and from there was a reimbursement and that was given. And during that duration, we were really being treated well. So we also had copied some traits that they used to maybe walikuwa wanatumia kutuhudumia, tukawaeleza hao wahudumu wa hospitali, and from there we have seen some changes, though there are no specific NGOs here, and at least we'd request that if in any case that there is some that may come out to help, it will really be necessary to at least ambush this issue of stigma out of the youths.
Okay, so what can you tell the county government of Migori or the national government when it comes to supporting the youths living with HIV and AIDS?
Like here in Migori, I've not heard about. I've even inquired, but I've not heard about. Maybe I've never seen even people maybe walking to talk to the youths who are suffering for HIV and AIDS from HIV, and it's not also making them now easy to open up. They have the problem. They normally like unapata hata mtu akiwa anataka kwenda safarini anashindwa, jamani, sasa nimebeba dawa zangu nitazitumiaje? Unafika mpaka point unajificha hada kwa choo utumie, kwa sababu hakuna ile kuongeleshwa ya salama. Unajua wakati unaongeleshwa unapata namna unajifungua roho yako inafunguka kwamba hii kitu kumbe iko na kumbe kuna hata wengine wenye wako na. Sasa ningeomba kama kuna uwezo wa wengine kujitokeza, hata serikali mwenyewe pia jitokeza, angalau itoe hata groups ambazo wanaweza kutuhimiza kwamba maisha bado inaweza kuwa ikiendelea. Hata ukiangalia ukiachana na hiyo hali yetu ya kukua katika hali hiyo, maisha bado inaweza endelea, ingekuwa sawa.
Sawa. So you talked about social life, like it's very hard for someone to live like a normal life because unapata unakuwa kwa space yako peke yako. So like mimi niseme kama you used to party, you used to go out, travel nini itakulimit kufanya a lot of things. So how do you guys cope with that? Because maisha yako lazima itaendelea. Kama ulikuwa mtu wa sherehe lazima utapiga sherehe, kama ulikuwa mtu wa kutravel maybe when ni mtu wa kutembelea relatives and everything. So how do you guys cope with that?
At first unajua marafiki pia lazima, unajua maneno pia yezi keti, lazima tu watasikia rumors nani ako hivi na hivi. And after that huwa inakuwa ngumu kukop kama mtu mwenyewe hajajikubali. The great thing here is acceptance. The biggest thing here is acceptance. Once you accept yourself,
unajua unaweza kumeji accept, but ile rejection bado inakuja.
I'm coming to that. So in my case I was taught that once you are rejected with by other people, maybe he or she was a friend and she decides to reject you, just keep on moving. I know the way after you have accepted yourself, you will get another better friend who will accept you the way you are. Just try to make things look positive. Don't just make, there's this thing we were taught that maybe you say that you are sad. There's that degree of sadness. You can say you are sad like, use to the equation of 10 to 10. You can say that I'm sad like 7/10. But if I get a friend to talk to, I'll be sad like 3/10. So it means that the sadness reduced. That is what you do. Just try to balance life. You don't just be negative that once Brian amekata kwa sababu mimi niko kwa hii hali. No, just say that amekata kwa sababu maybe ana feel he doesn't need my company. But once ameona maisha yako inaendelea, he surely will accept you the way you are.
So it's just a matter of when
time. You just give those people time, they'll just accept you. Kwa sababu ikishafanyika imefanyika, but life has to proceed. There is no matter of going to maybe kill yourself or think of closing. If you close yourself in a room, so to say, you'll just gain nothing. Utazidi tu kukonda, utaisha, hata afya yako haitakwenda. Hapo ndio utasikia wanasema, kwa sababu mainly wanasema siku hizi watu wana associate wenye wamekonda na watu wa ukimwi, which is very wrong. It is not true that kila mtu mwenye amekonda ni mtu wa ukimwi. Maybe that person is suffering from tuberculosis. You might not know. And those who are on drugs are very healthy.
Okay, so apart from youth, there are other people who live with HIV and AIDS. So what can you tell them apart from youth?
Apart from the youth,
there are the elderly, kuna pia watoto.
Mimi naweza waambia kulingana na mimi the way I took it, ukimwi is more like malaria. Since we had discovered that, unajua kitambo hata hakukuwa na ARVs and when then watu walikuwa wanakufa sana by then. But since ARVs were discovered, there are no more deaths. If you accept yourself, don't allow yourself to die. By not allowing yourself to die, so is that I mean take your drugs, don't allow yourself to die. Na kama unaogopa maybe usiku watu watajua mimi natumia dawa, then mchana uko peke yako, you can decide to use that schedule too. It's not bad.
Okay, so you can now share your contacts and maybe give us your last words.
Okay, my contacts are 01123707768.
You can just say it again.
01123707768. So my last word is that I really appreciate Blackman TV for hosting me for this interview, and I still urge the youths to continue being positive about everything. Life normally brings bad and good, and whether it brings bad, when it brings good, we celebrate, but when it brings bad, we should learn to look for solutions. Yeah. And not run away from them. Running away from a problem is not a solution to any problem. Once you get that you are at that state, just accept yourself, adhere to the doctor's instruction, and all will be well. Thank you.
Okay. So another question that I had, like when you're living with HIV, you are staying in a community, and a community entails like a lot of people.
Yeah.
So how do people take you when you're living with them, or how do they see you in the community?
Thank you for the question. About people taking you, it depends with how you carry up yourself. Maybe if you carry up yourself disgraced, like feeling disgraced, they'll just take you that way. But in my case, I normally carry out myself with a lot of respect. So I think there will no one with that courage maybe to disrespect me or see me like a curse, because in some cases they normally believe in communities that HIV and AIDS is a curse.
Okay, so there's this issue of the community. How do the community take you, and how do you live with them? Because unajua penye mtu wako lazima ukuwe na watu wenye wako hapo pia. So how do you live amongst the community?
I just live with them normally, though there are some people who will be discussed with you, but I normally carry out myself with a lot of respect. And once your self-esteem is high, no one will get that chance to intimidate you, because yourself, you have made your self-esteem to be high. Another thing, in community, it depends. Now, because I don't even give them my ear to listen to those negative things, so I normally feel that I'm just normal with them. I normally don't have time for negative things, and they're also very friendly. So I don't know, maybe there are some people under the ground, but I'm not sure of any that I've heard of.
All right. Another thing, after accepting that you are positive, your life must go on, okay?
Yeah.
So let's take a situation where you are okay, kila kitu iko sawa, you get a partner, and now you want to have children.
Not that I want to have one, I already have kids.
Okay, you have
so,
kids. So how does it go? Because do you give birth to like negative children, ama how do you go about it?
Okay, now when you're a woman and you're living with the HIV and AIDS, a woman or a girl, because nowadays even the girls do give birth. At in my status, I gave birth when I was still a girl. So there is I have 2 kids, they are boys, and none of them is HIV positive, just because I followed instructions. When you are due, you should be going to the hospital. The child normally gets infected when there is a blood contact between the mother and the child, which only happens if the umbilical cord was not properly handled during birth. That is 1. 2, it normally happens through breastfeeding. And by breastfeeding, I mean that if your viral load is high, it's not unsafe. It's normally very unsafe for the kids when you're breastfeeding. So that means that when you're a mother who is on ARVs and you're breastfeeding, you should highly take note of your drugs. You should be taking your drugs very keenly. And again, there is also some drugs they normally give to kids with mothers with HIV and AIDS at the hospital. So there's a duration that they normally take. With these drugs, you give the kid the drug until you stop breastfeeding. That is to take care of that infection between the mother and the kid. So possibly if you follow instructions, it's not that easy to raise kids with HIV and AIDS.
So like it's very normal for a mother living with HIV to breastfeed.
To give birth, yes, and to breastfeed. And in fact, breastfeed up to even 2 years if you like.
Oh, okay.
Once provided that you're following the doctor's instructions, there is no problem. But in case it happens that by bad luck the child contacts HIV and AIDS, don't take it negatively. Just give the child food and drugs. After food, you give the child drugs. The child will just grow up normal. I have testimonies of kids who have grown with HIV and AIDS even after I was born, and they have survived. They are still alive up to today. Some are even ready to get married. Some have married and they were born with that, and they are still alive.
Okay, thank you.